You mentioned that listening back to songs, that it kind of takes you back to that time and space. So if we take, well, let's take the previous, not the most recent EP,
Yeah.
but the one before Handprints.
Yeah.
What kind of image does it conjure in your mind?
Well, at the time of that, most of the songs were done like when we were just kind of properly starting as a band. So we recorded all them tracks after we recorded a song called War Cry, which was kind of what really made us into like a gigging band and actually playing a lot of shows and stuff. And it was kind of, I guess that was coming from like wanting to better ourselves almost, you know, and like that whole thing. I remember that summer we just spent most of the time writing songs in our garage, like chilling out, and it was all recorded around summertime, and it was really nice. And it was like when we didn't really, there was no pressure on us whatsoever, so we were just coming out with pretty much the most honest music we could possibly come out with, and that's what it was, and it's great.
What was the initial spark for this particular song?
What, Handprints?
Yeah.
I guess it was the chord progression that came out first. I think we had it for a little while. I can't remember, it's so long ago, but I think we had the chord progression, and it was we just wanted to. It was so summery, and we just wanted to go over the top, like make it a song for people to really dance. Because at the time we were releasing songs like War Cry and Youth Blood and stuff, and they're a lot darker and a lot more meaningful and a lot more emotional. Whereas this one was a lot more kind of just make people dance, festivals, kind of, that's what we had in mind, you know, that kind of summery kind of vibe to it. And then we just ran with it and went crazy and put some trumpets in it and stuff, and it was cool.
Do you take the live show into consideration when you kind of come up with songs, when you work on
Not really. I mean, now we've kind of started to interlink like both of them like with that work live, whereas before like we just wanted to get the best possible recordings that we could. So if it was something maybe we couldn't play live, we didn't really care about it, because there's only 4 of us, there's always going to be limitations to what we can do live, whereas like when we're recording there can be so many things we could do, and we want to make the most of that, you know. We don't want to limit ourselves when we go into a studio, so we always just keep open-minded to it.
So in that sense, then, do you consider yourself more as a studio band than a live?
I think we're 2 different bands. I really do. I think when we're in the studio, we're completely different. We focus mainly on being in the studio, and we'll put anything into a song. We're always up for trying new stuff. And then when it comes to live, we're very much a guitar kind of raw guitar band, which I really like, you know, because it brings out different elements in different songs which you wouldn't hear so much if it wasn't for that. So I mean, I think that's the way I see it, kind of 2 separate things, and I enjoy both equally.
Right.
But it's different. It's definitely different.
And Joe, for you then, what is the song that changes the most from playing it in the studio to the live setting?
Probably Handprints.
Handprints,
or Breathe. Yeah, I'd probably say Breathe actually.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more like energy live with Breathe. It's a lot bigger. So yeah, I think that's much more of a live track than a studio track. Yeah.
Does the audience influence the way that you mentioned the more raw energy? Does that come from the audience?
100%. Like you can play a show, like you can try and give 110% to a show where people don't really seem interested and don't really care who you are, you know, and you've got to give it, especially like in moments like that, you've got to give it all, because you've got to win them over sometimes, you know. Sometimes they're not there to see you if you're supporting someone else or something, so you know you've got to give it 110%, but it's really hard when you can like look out and you're giving it everything you've got and they're just looking at you with like a really dull face, oh. So that can be hard sometimes, but I mean you get used to it. Like we play so many shows and some aren't great and some are amazing, so like you just take it all.
But as you are starting out, do you notice that it's beginning to change now?
Yeah, like definitely 100%. Like I think we went on our first tour last March was it?
Yeah.
And there was like a few people at every show back home. It was dots. And then when we got to London, there was a lot of people there, and it was really wicked. And then we done a tour later on in the year, just after we released Crown in the UK. we'd done a tour in October, November.
September, October, November.
Yeah. And then that was kind of the first time I've ever noticed any difference to what was happening, and like there was a good amount of people at every show, and it made it feel like, you know, we were on the right track.
Progression,
It was wicked.
And now you're in the Netherlands playing, and tomorrow it's London Calling. So are these the first gigs in Europe?
Yeah, we done one in Barcelona last year, but apart from that, these are the first shows. So we played yesterday in Eindhoven, and that was wicked. Like, couldn't believe like the reaction of everything. It was mental, because we can't really tell how our music gets perceived over here, because when you're back home it's kind of a bit we're going on other things, and then it's kind of, because we released Crown in October back home, and I think it's like just came out this year here, so it was strange to kind of have like a delayed reaction to something. But it was like last night was unbelievable. Like, it was really, really good, so I'm just buzzing to be over here. Like, it's wicked.
And we talked about the images. What image does Crown have then for you?
Crown was a lot later. That was last March, I think it was written, and it was just before the festivals.
Yeah.
And we were playing, like, we got confirmed for a couple, and we were like, we need to write a song which would like just fit perfectly in any scenario you put it in. You could put it on some massive festival and people, like a bit of a sing-along kind of vibe to it, and it was like, none of it was purely intentional. Like, it just, especially the chorus just came from me trying to come up with a vocal line, and I just needed to stay in time, so I just got Rob to kick the kick drum. And then it was just the vocal and the kick drum, and then we were like, that sounds great, it doesn't need anything else. And then so we left it at that, and that was the first time we've ever done anything like that. We normally have full-on massive kind of huge choruses. That's what we kind of thrived off for ages, and then we found this new way that we didn't have to write like that, and we were like, wow, this is cool. And since then it's opened up so many doors. Like, the songs we've been writing recently, it's just broadened our minds a lot. It's wicked.
You say it's kind of opened everything up. Yeah. So are you writing now a lot in preparation for releasing an album?
Yeah, well, maybe an album, maybe not. Who knows? But we're writing a lot at the moment. I mean, I think we've got 6-7 new songs. We recorded a couple, and I think that's our main focus for this year, to be honest, was to kind of prepare ourselves a bit better than we've done before. Whereas before we've kind of chased ourselves. When we've released a song, we've gone straight back into the studio to do another one, whereas this time we want to have things much more as a solid block of music and take advantage of the songs we're writing at the minute as well. I think we found a style that we're all really comfortable with, and like really,
it just comes naturally.
Yeah, it's a really natural style we've found, and it's taken us a while, and it probably won't stick around forever, but I mean, it's something we're really comfortable and happy writing in at the moment.
And was Crown what kind of got this up?
Yeah, that was exactly it. The Crown was kind of opened a lot of doors to us. We realised we could do a lot more with our music than we thought we could. We kind of stuck with a formula for so long of writing songs. We didn't really know there was a lot else you could do, and then it kind of broke that chain and let us free, you know, and now we're creating some music I never thought we'd ever make, to be honest, which is cool.
And then you say you were thinking of a vocal line for that song. Do you generally end with the lyrics that the music is already done?
Yeah, I always do lyrics last. I never kind of have a song based, so I won't never start writing lyrics. I always have to have a piece of music to write the lyrics to. So say Handprints, I noticed, was a bit more of a summery kind of vibey tune, and then I kind of went and kind of based it around that to make it a bit more summery and and get the kind of high hope spirit kind of thing going on. And then that's how I always do it. I never have lyrics at the start of a song. I always wait till the very end.
I think my time is running out, so this is going to be the last question. But does the music then, you say Handprints was a bit more summery, but does that drive the lyrics then? Does that change what you're writing about?
Yeah, sometimes it can do. I mean, I try not to focus on my lyrics too much, because when I really think about it, I kind of lose myself in it, and it gets really strange and weird, and I don't know if I'm saying the right things and it makes sense and stuff. So when I try and like detach myself from what I'm doing and just like write whatever comes to my head and hope it works. And then a lot of the time, luckily enough for me, it does, which is kind of how I get my lyrics, you know. I don't like to focus on them a lot.
So they start making sense after
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it starts all coming together after that, kind of, and then I can just change little bits and pieces here and there, which is cool. Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
No, thank you very much for having us.